I thought that this would be another normal prison film, normal prison drama, until I started questioning whether people deserve to live or whether people deserve to die. This film left me with more questions than answers, and I'll tell you why. But before we get on to the reasons why this questioning everything that I knew about the death penalty, I think we need to talk about the film. And the film for me is very underrated, one of Tom Hanks' best films, and doesn't get talked about for whatever reason in that same breath as Forrest Gump, same breath Ryan Castaway, Toy Story, those kind of films that were in that back end of the 90s. But for me, it is definitely up there in my opinion, leaving lasting effects, which we'll talk about later on. And I think with this film going over not the sort of life in prison, more like life on death row. That's the kind of difference that you're doing here. Not many films cover that life on death row sort of situation. And it's not that you're getting to see the different personalities. You're getting to see people that are remorseful, that are on death row. You're getting to see people which are truly innocent on death row. And you're getting to see the people which are truly evil on death row. And you're getting to see these staff treat everybody the same, giving them that comfort of knowing that, yeah, you're going to die within several weeks, several months, several years. It doesn't matter. But giving them that comfort, that space to talk, whatever, and to feel like they're not criminals and not really treat them that way apart from putting them behind bars. They know what they've done and just keep them at bay. You know what I mean? Don't rile them up and don't put them down. And I think that was really interesting, in my opinion, how they treat that. But when you look at the John Coffey storyline, which I think is absolutely amazing, I didn't think that would fit in a film as serious as this, because it's about a magic guy that can heal people. That feels like we've merged two films together on paper. But in the film, it just works. The idea that this guy is healing another person on the wing, which isn't just another inmate, it's actually the officer on the wing. It is Paul, the main character, Tom Hanks, from a urine infection. He sees what he did and he's like, okay, it's a bit weird. It doesn't mean he's innocent. We've got to still treat him as a criminal. And then he realizes what he managed to do, healing the warden's wife who was dying of like cancer or something like that. That then takes it up a notch. Like, this is a little bit weird. Is he trying to get his freedom? Is he innocent? Is he not innocent? And then we find out that he's truly innocent and that he did not kill those kids. He was trying to revive them and trying to use all his power to save them. And it was one of those where he just got blamed for those killings happening, in which is absolutely disgusting. But at the same time, he sits on that ward and he healed a mouse on there as well. I just think there's so much cool stuff with that John Coffey storyline. And then you have Paul then, after when he has to kill that same guy on that wing, put him on the death row thing, because obviously they still think he's killed both of them. All them officers on there know that he didn't do it. They're all sobbing, they're all crying, because they know this guy's innocent and they're still having to kill him. And that mentally affected Paul, and he didn't go back on that wing, if memory serves, from the film. And he decides to pack that job in because he'd lost that feeling and he questioned everything about the death penalty. And when he's in that retirement home at the end, we see that he's still living with the fact that he's still alive. And he's still alive thanks to John Coffey and the mouse as well. After being healed, both of them have this long lifespan. But I also liked how we follow Paul's story, because if we'd have followed John Coffey's story as an inmate, I think we'd have known straight away that he's innocent. However, by going over Paul's perspective, we're seeing him enter as this big, bad, horrible, murderous killer. And then when our suspicions are confirmed, it's like, oh my God, this guy is truly innocent. So why did this movie affect me? And the answer I can give you is that it really makes you question everything about the death penalty that you knew beforehand. What you knew beforehand is that bad criminals, especially in USA, would end up going on the chair, lethal injection, or something like that, and would probably be seen in the eyes of many to be deservedly going on that thing to be killed. Whereas this film sort of shows why maybe it might be a good thing and why it may be a bad thing. The good reasons why is because those evil bastards that we see in certain instances deserve to go on that thing, because they're not going to learn, they're not remorseful, they really don't give a fuck about the pain that they've caused many families. But then you've got this middle person, right? You've got a remorseful person which knows he's killed all those people, but you think that he might deserve to go on there because even though he's sorry for doing it, he's still done it. And go on the thing, and then you may be thinking, well, maybe he should just serve time behind bars. But then you have people like John Coffey, who's completely innocent, and you're just thinking, with him, he shouldn't be on that death row at all. And that's the problem that you have afterwards, and you think, I know this isn't a real story, but could this happen in real life, that somebody accidentally gets accused of something, then gets put on something like a Green Mile or on death row and have to sit there years and years thinking about how they're going to die, and then they have to truly go for it, even though those wardens probably know they could be innocent, they're going to have to still take them to that chair or that lethal injection. The other thing that you sort of feel after this is with Dale, right? Because as much as he's sort of like in the middle, and he's sort of remorseful, and he knows what he's done's wrong, but he probably deserved to be on that death penalty. And when he gets put in the chair, Percy decides not to wet the sponge, and when he doesn't wet the sponge, that turns a death which is bad enough on its own with the sponge. They then decide not to wet the sponge, and that causes him to absolutely fry in front of many people and spectators' eyes. It is brutal. They're smelling him in burning. Dale is clearly in massive pain, and that makes you think, as much as we hate these criminals, even it is hard for us as human beings to watch somebody suffer in that sort of way. And that's the moment that really stands out, in my opinion, when I think of the Green Mile, because it's such a pivotal moment where you're thinking, even though he's done some really bad stuff, in which I don't think we get to see what Dale actually did, he could have been murderous, he could have been a rapist, whatever. It is still horrifying in this particular instance to see him fry in that fashion. So there you have it, folks. That is the Green Mile movie review, and to me this is a 9 out of 10. People might think that's a high rating, but I think it is truly one of the only movies, one of the only 2 or 3 films that I've watched that actually leaves you with a lasting effect, and there's not many films that have, where it makes you question things. And if you haven't seen some of our other movie reviews, then check that out now, and if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, and I shall see you fine, folks, in the next one. Bye.